This video was made possible by Jacob Jones Money, my other channel where I upload videos every single day. There isn't one posted here. Go subscribe. Please adhere to YouTube selected guidelines before viewing the content of this video. I do not encourage or condone any products, actions, or behaviors shown in this video. All videos are produced in a safe, professional, and controlled environment. Please do not attempt to replicate any actions performed during the video. All actions are performed by professionals. Alright, so today I'm going to be smoking and reviewing the Peace Little Cigars, filtered cigars from Japan, which, from what I can tell at least, are a full-flavored tobacco product, and are one that is trying to exude classiness just a little bit more so than not, even though these are just a filtered cigar. Now, I'll acknowledge I'm not really the biggest fan of filtered cigars. However, I am a fan of Peace as a brand. And so as such, I'm quite curious to give these a go and to find out just how they are, what they're like, and what I think of them. Will I end up enjoying these or will I not? I don't know, but I'm very curious to find out. But what is Peace as a brand? Well, Peace is a Japanese brand of cigarettes that was first introduced right after the end of World War II by Japan Tobacco, which at that time was a government monopoly. And quite quickly, Peace as a brand grew to become quite successful. And with the addition of new varieties over the years, Peace has remained a successful brand on the Japanese market. And still today, Peace is without a doubt a mainstay brand all across Japan. Might not be the most popular brand on the market here, I'll acknowledge, but everybody knows it, and anybody who smokes has tried it at least once, more than likely. Peace is a pretty notable brand, without a doubt. But this specific variety of Peace is one of the less notable versions, I'll acknowledge. Now, the concept for the Peace Little Cigars was first introduced in 2017 as a limited edition product. Apparently, that limited edition release found some success, and so as such, they did subsequent limited edition releases as well, until they grew so successful that they just decided to introduce this variety full-time onto the market, which they did in 2022. That makes this one of the newest Peace varieties on the market today, and that makes this one of the more unique Peace varieties as well. While Peace as a brand might do limited edition releases every once in a while, they rarely introduce a new product from one of those limited edition releases permanently. So that's pretty interesting, and it's even more interesting just because this is a pack of filtered cigars. Neat stuff, I will acknowledge. Well, that's what Peace as a brand is, and that's what these are more so than not. I do suppose, without further ado, I should probably go ahead and, well, quickly cover the look of the packaging. Then after that, I should probably go ahead and get the cellophane all off, go ahead and get the pack all opened up, and take a look at what the filtered cigars on the inside actually look like, what they feel like, what the quality is like, and of course what they smell like as well. And once I'm done taking a look at the filtered cigars themselves, I'm going to get one of the filtered cigars all lit up, and I'm going to get to smoking these filtered cigars right here, and I'm going to let y'all know just how they are, what they're like, and what I think of them. And once I'm done smoking, I'm going to go and give you my final thoughts on this pack, and I'm going to give it a rating as well. First off, as said though, we've got to go over the packaging. And we can see on the top, we get, of course, the design, and then on the bottom, we get the Japanese government regulation warning label just down here. This warning label is on a dark, almost sort of royal blue background, and we see that same color being used as the background in this corner up here as well. However, the overall background color for the majority of the design area on the front of the packaging isn't that of the blue, it's actually that of this brown right here, which is pretty interesting. However, it's not just a brown. Taking a look at this brown background up close and personal, we can see that it does indeed have a texture to it. Now, it's not a texture that you can actually feel, it's just a printed texture, but that texture, if we look closely, is the texture of a dried tobacco leaf. So yes, they're really trying to exemplify the fact that these are filtered cigars with this packaging. They've even got just the design of a dried tobacco leaf making up the background for the majority of the front of the design on the packaging, which is pretty wild, I will acknowledge. Taking a look on the brown tobacco leaf background itself, taking a look in the foreground of this area of the packaging, we can see the Peace logo right there. Just says Peace. There's no sort of drop shadow, no sort of shading or anything like that. Just a very simple Peace logo. Not the biggest logo in the world by any means, but doesn't look bad, I will acknowledge. And that's just all in white. Right under that, we just get the variety name for this pack, which is in a mildly reflective gold, I'd say, and it just says Little Cigars right there in cursive, and at the end of the S there's just a little wisp of gold going up looking like some smoke. Not a bad look for the text by any means. And then moving over to the other side, we can see that there's a gold strip right there just separating the brown from the blue, and on the blue we can see the classic Peace dove diving down with a laurel or with a wreath or with some olive branch in its mouth. I think it's an olive branch, right? I said laurel or wreath because I couldn't remember exactly what is in the dove's mouth, but I'm pretty sure it's an olive branch. I can't remember exactly though, I will acknowledge, but we just get the classic Peace dove diving down design right there in a very nice metallic gold, and that's on that rich royal blue background, I'd have to say. And the background itself does indeed have a little bit of texture to it as well. There are some slightly lighter, almost purplish lines kind of going all the way across. I don't know if you guys can really see those on the camera, but they're there. They might show up better once I get the cellophane off, I'll acknowledge. But yeah, there's definitely a little bit of texture going on without a doubt. Now, personally, I'll acknowledge I'm not really the biggest fan of the look of this packaging. Do I think it looks more classy than some packs? Do I think it looks more expensive than some packs? Do I think it looks better than some packs? Yes, yes, and yes, I'll acknowledge. However, in my opinion, having this sort of texture on it kind of cheapens the look of the packaging, frankly put. And while I do realize that Peace is a brand of cigarettes that is very much a gas station classy brand of cigarettes, to put it in American terms, it is nonetheless a high quality brand with a lot of history and a lot of varieties and stuff like that. Now, some packs of Peace have really nice, more retro designs, and some packs of Peace have more modern designs. I'll acknowledge I'm a bigger fan of the more retro designs than the modern designs. However, I don't know, I really just do feel like having like the tobacco leaf texture on it really just cheapens it, frankly put. I really do feel like it cheapens it, and I'm just not really the biggest fan of this sort of design right there. I would have much rather just had Peace Little Cigars and just an overall good looking packaging, even if it doesn't look like the most crazy thing in the world, rather than something like this. I mean, like, this packaging, in my opinion, it doesn't look bad. It just kind of looks, I don't know. Personally, I guess it's maybe just not to my personal preference. I do feel like this does cheapen it just a little bit, but it's not like anything to an insane degree, and I don't feel like the packaging looks genuinely bad. I'll just acknowledge it's not to my personal preference, hence why I'm kind of roasting the packaging just a little bit today. It's just not my style of packaging, I'll acknowledge. But there are some aspects of the packaging that I do quite like. I've just got to go ahead and readjust my seating position just for a second because, oh my goodness, my feet are falling asleep. I'm sitting down on concrete next to a river right now, and it turns out sitting crisscross applesauce on concrete for an extended period of time, i.e. 8 minutes, is not a good idea, I will acknowledge. Not a good idea at all. But what are some aspects of this packaging that I do like? Well, I really like the metallic gold they're using, both on the text over here and on the dove, and on this right here. I think the metallic gold looks good. I'm a fan of metallic gold on cigarette packs, I'll acknowledge. I also really like how when you go around the packaging, the design stretches around. We can see this brown goes all the way around, just like that. And this blue right up here goes all the way around, and the brown down here goes all the way around, and same on the top as well, wraps all the way around. So I love that. I really do appreciate, oh, my foot. Oh, it's all tingling. It's all tingling. I'm trying to think of a good way to sit. I feel like I need to stand up right now because, oh man, my foot is so asleep. Oh my God, oh man, putting any pressure on it, it's just so tingly. Oh man. Okay, it might have been a bad idea to sit down crisscross applesauce on concrete. My foot is so asleep right now. Bruh. All right, I'm gonna give myself a moment to just kind kind of try to get my foot awake again. I'm gonna take a sip of water, you know, maybe hydrating will help. You never know. It is slightly windy today, I'll acknowledge. But I think I'm gonna sit back down, and I'm just gonna try to sit down in like a way where I think my feet like will be okay. That's what I'm gonna try to do, I think. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, I do really appreciate how the design stretches all the way around. That's something I really like. And I'd have to say the two main aspects of this packaging that I do really appreciate are the gold, the fact that the design wraps all the way around, and I also like the dark blue. I also like the dark royal blue, I'll acknowledge. I do like that color. But yeah, those are some aspects of the packaging that I do like. Overall though, I'm not really the biggest fan of the look of the front of the packaging. I feel like it's one of the weaker Peace designs in my opinion. It's one of Peace as a brand's weakest tobacco product designs. That's my take, I'll acknowledge. It's okay. It's certainly better than a lot of packaging I've seen. But for the brand, it's pretty weak in my personal opinion. And I think that's really the right way of putting it, I'll acknowledge. But now that I've covered the front of the packaging, I do suppose it's time for me to go and cover the back. We can see another warning label down here and pretty much the exact same design on the back of the packaging. However, we don't get the dove diving down in the corner over there. Other than that though, it's the exact same packaging. Moving on to this side, we can see the warning label is not down here, so we get the barcode and some information about how to throw the pack away, along with a phone number as well, and that's all in gold except for the barcode, which is white with black on it. And then we just get the name of the tobacco product in Japanese right there, and then we just get some more information just saying that these are made by Japan Tobacco. And yep, that's what it says on the side of the pack. And at the top, we can see we get that sort of brown design right there. And then on the bottom, we get that blue design, which I appreciate, I will acknowledge. I do really appreciate that this wraps all the way around, I'll acknowledge. Moving on to the other side, there's really nothing going on. You can see blue right here, brown in the middle with that gold line going over, and then kind of blue down there as well. Is that a blue or is that more of a black? Just looking at it in the sun. Yeah, no, that is blue. That is blue. It kind of looks black when it's in the shade, but no, that is definitely blue without a doubt, I'll acknowledge. But yep, that's pretty much all that's going on this side. It's pretty empty, pretty nothing going on, I'll acknowledge. Moving on to the top, and we can see another aspect of the packaging from the top of it. This is not a hard corner box. This is of course a hard pack, but it's not a hard corner box with 90-degree angle corners. This has more like 30-degree, 30-degree. It's a not soft corner box. It's not a round corner box. No, actually it is a soft corner box. I got that and round corner box mixed up. It's not a round corner box, but it is a soft corner box. That's what this is, which is interesting as well, I will acknowledge. But taking a look at the top, we can see brown on this side, gold separating the brown from the blue over here. And we can see there's some like horizontal line just going all the way across on that blue background. And then we can see it just says Peace right there. And then in gold, it just says Little Cigars right there with, once again, that smoke rising up. And that's what's on the top of the packaging. Moving on to the bottom, we just get a blank blue background, just says Peace, Little Cigars, pretty much the exact same way it said it on the top. And then we just get a number code right there, which just reads E645PJ432. Now, if this was a pack of cigarettes, we would be seeing a like best buy date on the bottom of the packaging, but this is a pack of filtered cigars, and Japan Tobacco, for whatever reason, does not do best buy dates for filtered cigars. They also don't put the tar and nicotine on the packaging as well, so I don't know the precise tar and nicotine for these, I'll acknowledge. They're not required to do so by the Japanese government, and so they don't do so for these because they're not cigarettes, they're filtered cigars. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to the packaging as a whole. Let's go ahead and get the cellophane all off real quick, and I'm gonna go ahead. Wow, these smell really good. Oh man, it's like vanilla lemon custard. Oh my God, that smells just so good. Wow, I know I might be roasting the packaging just a little bit more so than not. However, these are still Peace like branded kind of thing. Like, I have faith they're gonna be solid. Like, I might be roasting the packaging, but that doesn't mean I don't think they're gonna be worth my time to try, because I definitely do think they're going to be, I'll acknowledge. Just feeling the packaging overall, got kind of like a glossy printed texture down here and a more smooth sort of matte texture up here. I'd have to say there's definitely some texture changes as well, with like the Dove right there being a little bit more sticky glossy, with this area being a little bit more matte in my personal opinion. Overall, some nice texture changes going on with the feel of the design of the packaging itself. Taking a look up close, can you guys see those lines on the blue? They're very kind of tough to see. I want to show them to y'all because they're there, but it's kind of hard to show them. Not sure. I think you guys can kind of see them. Yeah, they're like right there, just going like that way kind of thing. I think you guys can kind of see them. But yeah, those lines are there as well. That's another detail of the packaging. Overall quality wise, I'd have to say this packaging is on the lower side of average. Not a bad thing. It's just on the lower side of average, just because this is a soft quarter box, frankly put. So you've got like that right there. I can catch my finger on that and catch my finger on that and stuff like that kind of thing. It's not like this packaging is going to fall apart on me. It's not truly bad quality packaging, but it's just on the lower side of average, I'll acknowledge. But man, these cigarettes smell fantastic. Sorry, not cigarettes, filtered cigars. Now that I've covered everything I want to say, oh wait, there's one thing I forgot to mention. Does this pack look better with the cellophane off than on? Yes, it does, most certainly. Well, now that I've covered the packaging, covered what the pack itself actually feels like, what the quality's like, and whether it looks better with the cellophane on or off, I do suppose without further ado, I should probably go ahead and, well, get this all opened up, and I should probably go ahead and take a look at the inside and see what's there. We can see there's a code at the top up there. I don't know what that goes to, and I'm not going to try to figure that out during this video, but I'm sure it goes to something, probably some sort of Japanese link. I'll acknowledge that's probably what it is. The trains going by are a little bit noisy, I'll acknowledge. I made the choice to sit pretty close to a train bridge today, and while it is fantastic as I can watch trains go by mid-video, it is also quite noisy, I'll acknowledge. I hope it's not peaking the audio too much, but it probably is. But, yep, just got that little design up there, that code up there on the inside of the cigarette lid. And then we can see the cigarette insert itself is that a blue or a black? Trying to get it in the sun. Where's the sun? Come on. Okay, it's like a really dark blue. Yeah, it's like a really dark blue. So we get like a really dark blue cigarette insert right there. And then we get a white, very papery, a very thin paper white foil right here as well. And that's got the Dove on it, diving down with the olive branch in mouth. I was about to say in hand, but that's not quite right. Birds don't have hands after all, or do they? But yep, overall, just feels like paper, honestly, nothing too special. Let's go ahead and rip it out. Rips out pretty cleanly, no complaints on my behalf, and that's what these look like initially. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in my backpack so the wind doesn't whip it away and try to make me litter. And now, without further ado, these do smell good. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get one of the Peace Little Cigars out of the packaging, and let's take a look at well, what these look like, what they feel like, and what the quality is like, and what they smell like as well. I think I'm gonna go ahead and start off with smell. And I'm gonna be straight with y'all. These smell like sweet, savory lemon custard cream. That's really what these smell like. Like, there's definitely that lemon, vanilla, cream, custard sort of smell going on. And like, yeah, overall, these really do smell like vanilla, lemon, custard cream. That's really what they smell like, frankly put. These smell fantastic. These smell delicious. And yeah, I don't really think there's a better way of describing the smell than that. It really is just lemon, vanilla, custard, cream, and is there really anything else I'm noticing? Maybe a little bit of honey as well. I'll acknowledge. And yeah, that's the smell I'm getting from this filtered cigar. Let's go ahead and go over the look of it real quick. We can see the overall look is much more of a light brown than not. The overarching area of the filter is that of a medium to light brown, with the actual paper itself being that of a slightly lighter light brown, although still very much that of a medium to light brown in my personal opinion. Taking a look at the paper, there is a definite texture to it, and it's not only paper. There are what appears to be tobacco bits kind of just in there as well. It's definitely got a little bit of texture to the paper without a doubt. There's some filtered cigars available that are just straight, well, paper with tobacco in them. And then there's some filtered cigars that actually look like they're rolled with tobacco leaves. Like the, I think it was the Marlboro crafted, like red filtered cigars from Greece. If I remember correctly, those really look like they're rolled with tobacco leaf. Whereas like DeJaren Blacks in the United States, yes, they're filtered cigars, but honestly, the tobacco portion of the paper really does look like just paper. This is something in between. This is really something in between. You can definitely tell there's paper, but you can also really tell there's tobacco in there. It's really a 50-50 paper and tobacco mixture in my personal opinion, which is interesting. I'll acknowledge that is pretty interesting, but yep, definitely has the filtered cigar look going on without a doubt. But moving on to the actual filter itself, we can see down here we get an actual just printed texture design. Like, this is not a printed texture design. This is the actual texture and the actual just look of the tobacco paper itself. The filter, on the other hand, it is printed. And taking a look at the top, we get like a light sort of tortoiseshell cork style filter. I'd have to say it's like tortoiseshell color cork style filter in my personal opinion, just like right here, trying to look like the texture of tobacco a little bit, but also on the other hand trying to kind of look like a cork style filter in my personal opinion, which is interesting, I'll acknowledge. But yep, we get that sort of like brown dotted tortoiseshell cork style filter design, and then under that we get a blue ribbon right there with the peace dove diving down design on it, and that's all in gold. And then under that design there is a gold line as well, and then it just goes back to the filter and then down to the paper. Is there anything else I'm missing? At the very top of the blue, it gets a little bit darker, going to a really, really dark blue, and the dove itself does indeed have a border of that really dark blue as well. But overall, that is the look of the filtered cigar, except not quite. Taking a look at the filter itself, the filter itself is actually brown as well. Usually with filtered cigars, you see just normal white cigarette filters that are maybe a little bit different texture than an actual cigarette filter, just because it's a filtered cigar, not a cigarette. However, this is just not even looking anything alike. It's a brown filter. That's definitely different, I'll acknowledge, and that is something worth mentioning. Taking a look at the blend, we can see it's a medium to bright blend, I'd have to say. Medium to bright blend. We can't really see with the lighting right now. It's a little bit better on that side, but yeah, medium to bright blend in my personal opinion. Not the brightest blend I've ever seen, not the most medium blend I've ever seen, but definitely I'd have to say a lighter blend than not. And there's medium aspects and light aspects, so a medium to light to bright blend, I'd have to say, is the right way of describing this. And overall quality-wise, this filtered cigar is solid. Not bad quality by any means. Well, I think that's just about everything I wanted to say about the Peace little cigars, the look, the quality, the smell of them. So I think I should probably go ahead and put my water bottle back on the ground, and I think I should probably go ahead and get my ashtray all opened up so I have somewhere to ash. And now that I have done that, without further ado, let's go ahead and get my lighter out of my pocket, and let's go ahead and get my first ever Peace Little Cigars filtered cigar from Japan, all lit up. and let's get to smoking and find out just how these really are. Yes, sir, yes, sir, you know what I'm saying? And just right off the bat, there's definitely some cigariness in there, I'll acknowledge. Hopefully one of those will do as a thumbnail for the video. We will find out as a screenshot for the thumbnail of the video. Overall, right off the bat, oh, I noticed it, but I completely forgot to say it. I completely missed one thing that I want to mention before I really start describing how this is, because it's contextually important. There is indeed one line of perforation on the filter. It's right there, right where my index finger is tapping. There is one line of perforation. It's not the biggest line of perforation in the world, but the dots are not the smallest, and there are a decent amount of them. So yeah, there is a line of perforation, and that line of perforation, I can say, now that I'm smoking, without a doubt, it is having an effect on the smoking experience. And due to that line of perforation, I'd have to say the draw is a little bit more airy than I was expecting. I was expecting a pretty deep draw that wasn't really very airy when I bought this pack, I'll acknowledge, and before I saw that line of perforation, that's what I was expecting. But that's not really what I'm getting. I'm getting a slightly more airy draw than not, to my surprise. And while it's not bad, it is definitely different than I was expecting. But due to that airiness, this is very smooth. This is just as smooth as a cigarette at this point in time, if not, honestly, even more smooth. Like, this is just as smooth as a cigarette with perforation, without a doubt, without a doubt. Excuse me. Although there is definitely still some roughness in there. The taste overall is, to some extent, kind of like it smells. I'm getting that very much bakery, vanilla, lemon cream, sort of custard taste. I'd have to say it's definitely more cigar-y flavor than not, with a little bit of honey in there as well, I'd have to say. And let's go ahead and test the body real quick. The body, not the smallest I've ever seen, not the biggest I've ever seen, and definitely a lot smaller than not for a filtered cigar, in my personal opinion. Let's just test it one more time. Yeah, I'd have to say it's on the smaller side for a filtered cigar, without a doubt. It's not the biggest, and it's a little bit more airy than not as well, I will acknowledge. If this was a cigarette, I would say that it has a decent sized body for a light cigarette, but this is a filtered cigar, and while I don't know exactly how strong it is quite yet, because I haven't finished off the first one, I'm getting the impression it might be lighter than not, honestly. Which I thought it was a full flavored tobacco product, but I might be wrong. Might have been wrong. I think I made the mistake, and I made the assumption that this was a, well, full flavored tobacco product. I could have been slightly wrong, though. But I don't know. I haven't finished this one off yet. I'm gonna have to let y'all know what the strength is really like once I finish it off. But tested the body. Body, as said, not the biggest, definitely more airy than not. The airflow overall has been perfectly fine throughout the entirety of this filtered cigar. In fact, I would say the airflow is not like that of a filtered cigar that I'm used to. Generally, a lot of filtered cigars that I'm used to having have a little bit more of a heavy airflow. just because the tobacco is packed a little bit more. This, on the other hand, it's got packing just like a normal piece cigarette. So it's got very much a normal, average, just cigarette airflow, I'll acknowledge. Draw-wise, the draw is more of a medium draw than not, if you ask me. It's a medium draw not because it's heavy due to the airflow, but instead because you have to draw in a little bit more just due to that perforation and due to the air coming through that perforation. And roughness, smoothness wise, I'd have to say this is quite smooth at around about a, I'd say like 2.5 out of 4, honestly. Like very smooth for a filtered cigar. And then I would say strength wise, I am a little bit buzzed. I just finished it off. I am a little bit buzzed. I would have to say very much that of a 3.2 out of 4 strength-wise. I'm gonna have another one in a minute, figure out exactly what the flavor is like and think if I've missed anything. But overall, my initial impression of the piece little cigars, filtered cigars from Japan, are that they're honestly more to my preference than I was thinking they were gonna be. I'm not generally the biggest fan of filtered cigars. I prefer my cigarettes. However, these are quite solid. Now, with piece cigarettes in general, you can definitely tell that there's a little bit of vanilla flavoring going on. Without a doubt, they added a little bit of vanilla to the blend of piece cigarettes. And while it's there in piece cigarettes, it's not overwhelmingly intense, I would say. Some more so than others, without a doubt, but overall, it's not the most intense thing in the world, and you can definitely still taste the tobacco just a little bit underneath kind of thing. This, on the other hand, has a more intense flavoring. You can definitely tell it's vanilla, lemon, cream flavored, without a doubt. It really tastes like a bakery product, in my personal opinion. Almost tastes like a cake, like a lemon, like vanilla cake or something like that kind of thing, and I quite like that, I will acknowledge. More like vanilla cream frosting, I would say is really the right way of putting it, actually. Definitely the piece little cigars have a more intense flavoring to them than your average piece cigarette, I'll acknowledge. It's not a bad thing, it's just different, and it's not quite what I was expecting. But there's also that sort of tobacco-y cigar taste in there, and you can definitely tell there's also a little bit of just a tobacco taste coming from the insides of it as well. There's that little bit of a honey taste, and I don't think that honey taste is coming from an additive. I don't think it's coming from flavoring. I think that's coming from the tobacco itself, if I had to guess. I could very well be wrong, but there's that little bit of flavor in there. I'd have to say with these, it's definitely still a mixture of a, well, flavored tobacco taste and a normal tobacco taste, as is the case with normal piece cigarettes. However, these are just a little bit more flavored than your normal piece cigarette, without a doubt. But they're not your normal piece cigarette. They're piece little cigars, filtered cigars. So it makes sense. And I was really surprised they burn pretty quickly as well. I'd have to say maybe a little bit slower than a piece cigarette, but certainly not overwhelmingly slow by any means. Definitely quicker than I'm used to smoking a filtered cigar from the United States, I'll acknowledge. Smoking length-wise, these definitely come across more like the like Echo filtered cigars, for example, I'd have to say. Or the, well, I haven't tried them yet, but I assume the Wakaba filtered cigars as well. But yeah, interesting. I can definitely say these are interesting, without a doubt. I think I'm gonna get myself another one lit up in a moment. I'm just trying to, my foot fell asleep again, and just trying to get it to not be as asleep, I'll acknowledge. Just got my leg lifted up just a little bit. But yeah, interesting. I think that's the right way of describing these. Certainly not bad, and interesting without a doubt. I think without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and get another one out and get back to smoking and see if I missed anything. And then after that, I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys my final thoughts and give the pack a rating. Without further ado, let's go back to smoking. Yes, sir, you know what I'm saying? Definitely, initially, right off the bat, I can say with confidence the draw is... I would say, I describe the draw as being that of a medium draw due to the airiness for the last one. But at the very beginning, I'd have to say these have more of a extremely light draw, just due to how airy they are at the very beginning. Definitely quite airy at the very beginning. Once you get lower on in them, I'd have to say the draw kind of gets a little bit heavier as you go on, and I'd have to say you get a little bit more smoke, but at the very beginning, they're quite airy, and the draw is quite light due to that airiness. Very interesting. I'd have to say taste-wise, it's, as I described previously, it's very much that of a, frankly put, cigar-y, sweet and savory, lemon, vanilla, cream, custard flavor with an undertone of the slightest bit of honey. And that's what I personally think the flavor of these filtered cigars is like. Body-wise, once again, body more airy than not, and definitely smaller than not for a filtered cigar without a doubt. And I'd have to say, airflow-wise, once again, these are perfectly fine. Now that I'm really thinking about it, smoking a second one, I'd have to say maybe the airflow is a little bit tighter than your average, like, piece cigarette, but it's really not super significant. And the draw itself really does come across more like a light cigarette than anything. It's just very airy. You get a lot of airflow coming through the perforation. So yeah, these definitely come across more like a light cigarette than not, I will acknowledge. Roughness and smoothness wise, I would say very much that of like a 2.5 to 2.8 out of 4, depending on where you are in the filtered cigar. At the very beginning, it's very much that of a 2.5 out of 4. And as you continue smoking, it bumps its way up to a 2.8 out of 4, roughness and smoothness wise. And strength wise, I'd have to say it's overall like a 3 to 3.2 out of 4. Is there anything else I'm missing about the flavor? That's now my goal to figure out. Because I've talked about everything else. Now I just want to really focus on the flavor. See if there's anything I missed. Which I don't think there is, but you don't know. Or I won't know until I pay a little bit more attention. So I'm going to do just that. Definitely when you don't inhale, they come across a little bit drier and a little bit more cigar-y, without a doubt. They have a little bit of chalkiness to them when you don't inhale. But when you do inhale, they just come across like cigarettes, in all honesty, just with a cigar-y taste. And retrohaling, not really noticing too much else. I would definitely have to say the flavor of these, especially when you're not inhaling, is a little bit of a drier flavor than not. I would have to say overall, there's also, when you don't inhale, just the slightest bit of spiciness in there as well, but really not much, really not much. Overall, to describe the flavor once and for all, I would have to say it's that of a sweet and savory, cigar-y, slightly dry, chalky, vanilla, lemon, custard, cream flavor with a little bit of honey in there as well, in the very background. And that vanilla lemon custard cream comes across as a more moist flavor, with that cigar and chalky flavor coming across as more of a dry flavor. And I'd have to say the chalky cigar-y flavor is more intense when you don't inhale. And so when you don't inhale, you get that more dry flavor, and when you do inhale, you get that more moist flavor. Yeah, very interesting. Well, that's about all I had to the second one. I'm gonna go and put that in my ashtray and try to shove it in there, get it closed up if I can. There we go, just like that. My ashtray is a little bit full right now, I'll acknowledge. Need to empty it out the next chance I get. I needed to do that before the video, but I completely forgot to do that. But now that I finished off my second piece little cigar, filtered cigar from Japan, I think now it's time for me to go and give you guys my final thoughts and let you guys know what I think of them. So overall, what are my final thoughts on them? Do I like them? Do I not? Would I buy a pack of them again in the future with my own money? I don't mind them. I don't mind them, and I do think they are a good quality tobacco product that are worth my time without a doubt. I am without a doubt very glad that I purchased these filtered cigars right here. They've been a very interesting experience to have. They're a little bit more intensely flavored and a little bit different tasting than the Peace tobacco products that I'm used to trying, the Peace cigarettes. So they're definitely a little bit different and a little bit interesting due to that. But overall, they are a little bit airy for my personal preference, I'll acknowledge, and just due to me not being the biggest enthusiast of filtered cigars, and with me having a personal preference towards cigarettes, I'd have to say overall, I would still personally much rather purchase a pack of, like, let's say the Peace original filters, or the Peace, or Peace Lights over these. And that is especially prevalent due to the amount of airiness from the perforation of these filtered cigars. If they were a little bit less airy, a little bit more like a filtered cigar that I'm used to, I think that I would honestly like them more. However, with that airiness and with just me not being the biggest fan of filtered cigars, I'll acknowledge, I'd have to say that this is a pack of smokes that personally, I cannot see myself buying again. However, it is a pack of smokes that I will, without a doubt, enjoy having the rest of. And I think these are gonna be really good to have when I'm drinking at my Airbnb and I'm wanting a little bit of a smoke, I'll acknowledge. Overall, really very minor issues with these right here. And those issues aren't an issue with quality or with them not being good or with flavor or anything like that. It's just that there's certain aspects of the Peace little cigars that aren't exactly to my personal preference. And that's why they aren't exactly to my personal preference. Overall, I'd have to say, while these aren't to my exact personal preference, if you do enjoy filtered cigars and you end up visiting Japan, or if you do enjoy filtered cigars and you live in Japan, I don't think you'll mind these by any means. And if you like the Peace Lights but want something a little bit stronger and a little bit more tobacco-ish, I'd have to say that I don't think you're gonna mind these as well. If you enjoy light cigarettes in general and you just want something a little bit stronger that smokes like a light cigarette, these are gonna be what you're looking at, or what you're looking for, to say it correctly, I will admit. But as somebody who prefers a slightly heavier draw and a little bit more strength, these are not quite my thing. Although that's not to say that these aren't strong. That second one definitely did get me a good buzz, I will acknowledge. Overall, what is the rating I want to give the Peace little cigars, filtered cigars from Japan? I'm gonna have to give them a very solid, just flat 3 point, feeling kind of conflicted. was kind of thinking a 3 out of 4, and then I was like, nah, like a 3.2, and then I was like, nah, 3.5. They are good quality, and I'm gonna enjoy smoking the rest of the pack, but they're not the best thing ever. And while they're not exactly my personal preference, I definitely think other people would enjoy them. There's a reason they brought these on full time after all. They must sell somewhat well. And, you know, I'm gonna give these a 3.5 out of 4, which means that they're a tobacco product that I enjoy, that I will absolutely enjoy smoking the rest of, but they're not a tobacco product that I consider to be the best thing ever, or exactly to my personal preference. But if somebody handed me a piece of little cigars, filtered cigar from Japan, I'd absolutely smoke it without a doubt. No complaints on my behalf. Glad to have tried this pack right here, and hope you guys have enjoyed watching today's review. If you guys have enjoyed watching today's review, of course, please make sure to like and subscribe for more content. I have my Instagram, my book, my merch, and everything like that all in the description down below. You guys can find it all down there and go check it all out. But yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video. I think I said everything I wanted to say. Let me know what you guys think of what I tried today. If you guys have tried them before, if you guys haven't, let me know what you guys think based off of what I said. And until the next one, stay safe in peace and have a great one. Yes, sir, you know what I'm saying?